Hi, mi gente. Welcome to Let's Hablar podcast. We are your hosts. I am Maye.
Kyra.
And Clara.
Today we're going to be going over what we discussed last time, which is Ultimatum Queer Love. We're also going to discuss other topics. I did just want to clarify something really quick. Al Pacino did not deny the paternity of the unborn child. Apparently that was just a rumor. He did speak out to, I believe it was some kind of magazine that he did not deny the child and request a paternity test. So basically he's not trying to deny that he fathered a baby at grandpa's age. Anywho,
there is nothing wrong though if he did. Still don't think that there's anything wrong with ever requesting a DNA test. Why not double check? If there's nothing to hide, what's the negative about it, right?
Agree. I really do, because again, I think the age has nothing to do with it. But if you have just, I guess, any kind of inkling to just make sure that it is your baby, you should have that right. But then again, we don't know their circumstances.
so we just wanted to go ahead and clear that up for you guys because, like we said, we don't want to get sued. And I don't want no one coming at me just because I reported on a rumor that I heard online. So, in saying that, we're gonna have Kyra start off by breaking down the Ultimatum Queer Love finale and the series overall. What did you think?
So again, I stick to my original comment. Mal's a G. I love Mal. Shout out to Mal. Also looking into like her social media and stuff like that. I just love everything she's doing. She is doing a lot with Pride Month, all that kind of stuff. So shout out to her. I think she's probably my favorite on the show. The others just have a lot going on. Sam has so much patience. It's crazy. It's insane. Everyone could take a lesson from her, I think. I'm really glad to see her being able to speak up and stand her ground, and in the reunion, her just going to kind of comfort Tiff, like she a real one too. She's more on the quiet side, so you know, quiet people tend to scare me, but definitely you got to see, I think, her true character, which was awesome. She was great. Those were my two favorites, I think. Lexi, she's a boss. She's definitely a boss. Everybody else's relationship, I can't really, it's, you know, it is what it is. I feel like there's a little bit of messy in everybody, and you got to see all of that on the show. So again, if you haven't checked it out, you're missing out for sure.
So, really quick, before we go any further, I almost forgot to mention, our friends at Sad Fan Podcast Network actually are friends with Tiffany's friend, Natasha. Mm-hmm. They actually know her, and they just wanted to let us know that that she's actually a dope person.
She seems dope on the show.
She had solid advice.
Sorry, I lost. I'm Squirrel.
Natasha.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
With Tiff and Mildred.
And she's, okay, yes. And she's friends with
Tiff, Mildred's partner, or ex-partner.
Ex-partner, yeah.
Yeah. Overall, everybody has the right to feel the way they feel. That's their relationship. Cool. I didn't like the approach, but I've also been that woman that's just fed up. I've been in a relationship where I was just like, okay, I can't do this anymore. It's just drained everything out of me. So I think we do have to remember that when they're on the shows, you know, I don't know everything that happened, but it definitely seemed Mildred had some anger. She had some hostility, and it was let all out. Again, I don't agree with the way it was done, but you know, to each his own. They got to handle their own situation, and I also think it's different when you have kids in the situation. So overall, great show. I loved it. Hope they have more. Yeah.
Hate me, but I didn't watch the finale. But I got, yeah, I know.
Oh no.
But I watched it, and I can totally 110% agree with Mel and Lexi on like your standpoint and like your, you know, the way you perceive them, because I'm 100% with you on that. However, I did not get a chance to see the finale, but I will watch it today because I know there's going to be more to say about it. I really do, especially, you know, once we start getting comments about it and someone chimes in and tells us, you know, their thoughts about it. Once I do see it, I feel that that'll give you a little bit more of like time to like actually say, hey, you know what, this person's right, or you were right with this, because, but everything else, yes.
So question then, since you didn't see the finale and you don't get to see, like, you get to see who proposed to who and all that good stuff, who do you think is still together? So we'll start with Sam and Aussie. Do you think they got married?
No.
Do you think they're still together?
I'm gonna be honest. The ones that I do think that might have a chance are probably, because this is a tough one for me. I don't think they're still together, but I think that they're like working on it, if that makes any sense. And those would be my only two that I think.
Those two?
Those two. Because even with Tiff, like there's just too much going on right there.
What about Mal and Yoli?
No. The reason why is because of the way Mel even described Yoli in the beginning, in the sense of how she falls in love too quickly and how she noticed the difference of like not being different from the other ones.
Exactly
like what
that.
like
she did
what
exactly
yeah.
that.
So I honestly in reality my thought is the only ones that are probably together but yet not because they're kind of working on it would be Ozzy and Sam.
What do you think about Lexi and Bray?
Cousin, all I gotta say is Ray needs help. She needs help. She
you say that, why?
And I say that not in a disrespectful or mean way, and I think she just needs help because the way I saw her, she was too standoffish in any perception, whether it was a compliment towards her or whether she, you know, like just expressing herself and wanting to. I feel like she, even though she was a little bit older than Lex, she still didn't know what she wanted. I feel that her head wasn't, she was still like not set on what she really wanted for herself. She probably had an idea, but I feel that she wasn't secure with herself. So I don't think so. But I could be wrong.
Xander and Vanessa?
No. Just no.
Xander and Yoli?
Maybe they have a thing going to see where it does lead because, you know, 3 weeks isn't enough, I think. But I don't think it's, I just, no.
So the only people, correct me if I'm wrong, the only people that are still together are Aussie and Sam.
Well, not I don't think anybody's together. Does that make sense? I don't think any of them are technically still together. I feel that
Aussie and Sam are.
I want Mel to be my friend.
I know. Mel,
I just want Mel to be my friend. But I just don't have that vibe. Yeah. Maybe I need to see the finale and see what actually the energies there and see what's what and then like go from there. But just throughout the episodes that I did watch, I just don't feel, because even Ozzy, like, just
she has a lot of work.
She's a lot.
Yeah.
She's a lot. And you mentioned that Sam is a very patient person and someone who likes to see the bigger picture of things. But she's got a calm about her, like, you know?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I wish. Sam, you need to come teach me some things because I'm like, oh no, I don't have time. No.
What about you, cousin?
So I took notes.
Oh my goodness.
Because I have a lot of things that I want to say. First of all, happy Pride Month to all of those who are within the LGBTQ plus community.
Yes,
we appreciate when you feel that you are ready to come out to share your stories and to be who you are. And if you're taking your time to come out and share who you are, that's fine too. Just do it in a safe space that works for you. Now, I do want to say this experiment is not something that I would ever partake in. Ever in life. Ever in life.
Yeah. No shade, but you would have to have a partner.
First of all,
Okay,
that's disrespectful.
word.
Second of all, I wouldn't do it because one, I don't like to share. What I feel is mine only. And I feel like even though they're technically broken up for those 3 weeks or whatever, to me, that's not a real breakup, because if we're gonna get back to being the way that we were potentially, then it wasn't a real breakup. You cheating on me. That's just how I see it.
It goes back to your cutting people off.
Yeah, but so far that's worked for me. Well, maybe I haven't. But so I would never do something like that. Sam and Ozzy, I feel like Sam is very sweet in the way that she does things, but Ozzy runs too quickly from conflict. It can even be something that's like a calm conversation and she feels overwhelmed, she leaves and doesn't come back until the next day. That would be a problem for me.
She just has issues. Again, like she's not ready. She doesn't even know,
Yeah.
you know, and her being the oldest one, basically, out of...
She was like 42, right?
Yeah,
Or
out
something
of all
like
of
that.
them. She's dead. Yeah.
And the fact that when they asked her, later they asked her, would she tell her parents? Because her parents didn't even know anything. She said no. So she's afraid to tell her parents who she is. Let's see. What else? Mildred and Tiff, I feel like they needed a lot of work when I was watching it, because it feels like Mildred's very opinionated, but when she doesn't get her way, she will push your buttons to get her way. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Personally, how I feel.
Yeah, that I do agree with. Like because they know each other in that sense. So she knows what buttons she can push.
Yeah. She knows exactly how.
But yeah, she doesn't like hers pushed.
Like
Right.
interrupting.
Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. You have to watch the finale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's Vanessa for everything.
Lexi and Ray.
Mildred went in hard.
Went in hard.
She's a bitch. I'm sorry.
Hey.
That was rude the way that she did things.
She's a beep.
She went in. So I will say this. One thing I do appreciate is you can see that was an issue, the whole interrupting thing. And in that finale reunion, whatever, you can see Tiff really trying to work on that. Really trying to be like, I'm sorry. My bad. Like, it's hard not to interrupt. Sometimes you get excited. You get passionate. I struggle with that.
I'm doing it now. But it's not intentional.
Right.
It's just you're in the emotion, in the moment, and the feelings, and the, you get excited. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You get excited. Yeah, you're right.
So I feel like they would really need like therapy all the time. It wouldn't be able to stop and this is prior to getting to the reunion. So this is just my thought prior to that. Now I have thoughts. Now I saw the reunion. I was like, wait a minute, scratch that thought. But Lexi and Ray, I don't think it was gonna work out from the moment that Ray and Vanessa had their moment. Because for me, Lexi is the type that maybe not maliciously, but she will bring that up when she's upset. When she's upset or she's hurt, she will bring that up into conversation, and that's not healthy. To me, that's not a healthy way of living with somebody. That's why I said it's kind of like how they said they talked about it, saying that there could be a possibility of that happening. But one thing is talking about it amongst each other, and the other thing is finding out that it happened. It's completely different. And Yoli and Mal. I feel bad for Mal because she was 100% right in her concerns to begin with when it comes to marriage. And I feel like her concerns in the beginning were valid. And she stayed very true to who she was from the beginning. Like, this is who I am. It's gonna be Yoli all day, every day. I'm team Yoli. Lexi is a friend. I want to help Lexi get through this. And it almost like you could see her empathy for others who were going through stuff.
It's like Kyra said from the beginning, she's a real one. Because you can honestly see how genuine she is. She has always, I mean, to me, at not any point did I see fakeness or pretending to be something or someone she was not.
Just the support she shows is like crazy. Like, I can't imagine seeing the person I want to marry, seeing the person I'm with, even if I'm not even at that point, seeing the person I'm with and knowing like, okay, you fell for somebody else, you need that closure. Okay, go get your closure. Like, here's a, you know, here's the opportunity for you to say your piece. I get it. I respect you 100%. I'm here for you. I got your back. Like, just that safety. Like, that's Mal in Mel version. Come holla at me.
And for my last couple, I think I only have one more, was Xander, right? And Vanessa. I did not like Vanessa from the beginning. I made it very clear when I told Kyra, I can't stand Vanessa. I don't like her, which is, to me, don't like is different than saying hate, and I'm okay with don't like. I did not like her.
You dislike her very much.
Very much. But I feel like it was because when I saw her initially, I was like, she's just down there to fuck. At the end of the day, that's all she wants.
That was a very vulgar word.
She's a very vulgar person.
I mean,
She's matching energies, homegirl.
As soon as she found out that there was a possibility that she was going to lose the partner that she came with, she started sending text messages to be malicious, to stir up drama, and to lack of a better word, to be a bitch.
Like
That's what she wanted.
It's always been about her.
Yes.
She's one that makes everything about her.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, okay, I don't like that. And when I know we talked the first time, we said someone who has confidence. At first, it was like she was trying to demonstrate confidence, but in reality, she's a very insecure person. Because as soon as you found out that there was a possibility that you could lose the person that you're with, you started to do everything you can to keep them. Say you love me, do this, do that, and then hurt other people in the process. And I'm not down for that. I don't like when people hurt people, but that's still like, there's a certain time and place where it's not acceptable. And I feel like innocent people shouldn't be your target. Mal didn't deserve for you to put those doubts in her head about the conversations that were going between Yoli and Xander behind her back. So that for me was something that I did not like. But if I have to actually choose between who I dislike more, I dislike Yoli way more than I do Vanessa. And the reason why...
I was just going to ask. Please elaborate as to
She
why.
hurt our girl. She hurt our bestie.
First of all, I'm going to ruin it for Clara. I'm sorry. When someone proposes to you, you have the option of saying no. You have the option of saying yes. When you're not sure because you may have feelings for someone else, you shouldn't say yes.
May have. Let me clear that up. She never said I may have feelings. I may still love Xander.
Didn't you say I'm in love?
She
with
said
Xander,
I still love Xander.
Yeah.
All right, bet.
And she said yes to the proposal from Mel. And then
Wait. I never heard her say yes. I heard her say, you know I don't care about the ring, and put the ring on her hand. Never heard her say yes.
But she did
Wait,
not.
did Mel put the ring on her hand?
Yeah.
Or did Yoli grab the ring and put it herself?
She said,
I don't know.
She said, will you? And Yoli went like this. She physically didn't say it at first. That's when
No.
Mel went like that.
If I'm asking or being asked, you better use your words. You better use your words. That's all I'm going to say. That's just respectful, period.
Yeah, don't nod.
What?
Yeah.
But the way Aussie proposed, I was like, bro, you're going to give her a rock?
I know, that was...
You're a rock. And then waited heck along. I'm like, bro, that's what we're going to do? We went through all this and that's what you're going to do?
No, and what got me was... So, I feel like that particular episode, so the one before the very last one, kind of drug out because they waited too long in between like the couples and all this unnecessary commentary. For me, it was just a lot. But I felt like Yoli and Xander went the whole like, let's go over here and then go and talk and then separate and then like act like they're crying. And well, they were actually, some of them were crying real tears, but I believe Yoli was just a crocodile tears. That's just me. So then she goes, wait. And I'm like, oh fuck, is she gonna end up saying I want to be with you? And then like she still goes with Mal. Like,
I thought this
no
thing. As soon as she said that, I was like, oh, she's gonna break it off.
Yeah.
And she did it and was just hugged up with her. And I'm like, well, that's.
I do want to say something to you both. My mommy, I made her watch that particular episode. Did you notice anything about Yoli's outfit at all?
I didn't
that
watch
dress
it,
and the
so
shoes.
I can't say.
Dress and the shoes?
Uh-huh.
I didn't watch it, so I wouldn't be able
They're
to tell you.
see-through?
No, so her shoes, well, the dress one was a little long. That's why she kept like lifting it up, but I feel like she's just short, so it's gonna happen regardless. Her tacones, her heels, were like this far off the heel of her foot, if you notice her shoe. Her heel, so a normal heel, like if you're a size 7, right, you'll get a size
like
7
longer.
shoe. It was about
Too big.
this much.
So they were too big.
They're too big, and my mom is the one who points it out. She goes, that girl didn't even get the right shoes. What the hell? She gonna fall. And I'm like, you're looking at her shoes?
I think it's because they were like, you know how you slide down?
Yeah.
Because my shoes do that.
She got small feet and she got too big of a shoe, girl. My cousin Charlene is about her size.
And also, you guys know though that in those kind of shows, they wear like rented out or borrowed out wardrobe. So maybe she's like, I want that outfit and I want those shoes. I mean, and they're like, it's too big or something. She's like, nope, but I want them. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, based on the personality or whatnot, maybe that's probably what it could have been.
No, pero your comadre, that was the first thing that she pointed out was her
It's
shoes.
because she wasn't invested in the relationships.
No, she
No.
just wanted to.
And then
no.
now, with all that being said, do you guys think that the outcomes based on you guys watching the finale, any of this would have been different or gone in a different direction if these were heterosexual couples or male gay partners?
No, I don't.
Because we are talking about estrogen
Yeah.
and testosterone.
Well, and women are just
And then-
dramatic.
But see, the masculine woman, which is Ozzy, she was one of the masculine. She's drama. She didn't know how to cope or handle. And again, I feel, God bless you.
Our basket.
I don't know. I feel that a lot, like it was stated earlier, hurt people, but I don't necessarily find that to be true. Yes.
So I think if it was a man and a woman, they wouldn't even have tried to make it work. Because a lot of men, not all men, with their ego, as soon as they find out, for example, in, let's say, Vanessa, Xander, Lexi, and Ray's situation where it was made aware that something physically happened.
It happened, yeah.
A man's ego, a lot of men, not all men, would be
Right.
like, well, I don't want to be with her, and then they would just throw dirt all on that person's name, even though they probably would have done the same thing if they had the right person.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is harder, I think, for men to accept an quote unquote infidelity, even though they were technically broken up. I think men in general just have a harder time accepting that the woman can move on or the woman has the right to move on because, again, socially, since we are, talking about, Pride Month and stuff, and a lot of people coming out to their families and friends, when it comes to be in the social realm or whatever you'd like to discuss, it's a stigma regardless whether you're gay or you're a man and you cheat on your girl or whatnot. Like it's just, I feel that men in general just have like a totally different social aspect in life, period. you know, and so women, that's why I was asking the question in the sense of, do you guys feel that the outcome or the scenarios would have been a lot different if it was either a heterosexual couple or gay men? You know?
think for like as far as like the heterosexual relationships, I think there's just, because I was actually talking to a friend and we had talked about the show a lot, and we were talking about something and they were just like, well, that like the LGBTQ community is a lot smaller than
like the heterosexual.
Like heterosexual, yeah. And so I was like, okay, that makes sense. So I don't know if it would necessarily, so maybe that is why there's more of an attempt to work things out, whether it's to female, to male, whatever the case is. I think for like as far as like the heterosexual relationships, I think there's just, because I was actually talking to a friend and we had talked about the show a lot, and we were talking about something and they were just like, well, that like the LGBTQ community is a lot smaller than
like the
heterosexual, yeah. And so I was like, okay, that makes sense. So I don't know if it would necessarily, so maybe that is why there's more of an attempt to work things out, whether it's to female, to male, whatever the case is. Maybe that's why there's more of a push. Again, I have no idea. I'm one of the people that goes hard for a relationship, so I'm gonna give and give and give until I physically and mentally am like, I can't give anymore. I have nothing left to give. And so I don't know if it would be different. I do think the ultimatum though pushes more relationships that are stagnant into like, okay, we need to figure this out. Like, we really need to figure this out. Whether you give an ultimatum, I don't know. I've given an ultimatum, and it sucked. It sucked to be the person giving the ultimatum. I've talked to the person I gave the ultimatum to and have gotten comments about how much it sucked to receive it and how hard it is to be stuck and be trying to figure it out, and the whole situation all the way around kind of sucks when you feel like your relationship is at a standstill. Like, okay, what are we doing? Like, I don't want to rush it, but I know I love you, I know I want to be with you, you know.
Yeah.
But at what cost? And so I think that's, especially with social media and stuff, I mean, man, we can contact anybody everywhere. And so it's like, at what point do I think that this is not settling, but this is the best for me? Like, I think people now struggle making that jump, making that leap.
And if I may, this is one thing that I don't understand. And maybe I'm not going to explain it properly, or it might be a little confusing, but when someone already lives together and they've been living together for 2-3 years, like most of them have, what is the difference of signing a piece of paper stating that you are married? Because you already share responsibilities, you already share a home, you already share your life together. And then what if prenups are involved? What if? So how would that make you feel? You know what I mean? Like, so I have so many questions because I am a married woman. They are not. She's single, though they're both single, but she's been in long-term relationships. Kyra has been in long-term relationships.
I've been single for a very long time.
Ever. Forever.
For a very long time.
Forever. She really has. By choice. By choice. However, coming from a married standpoint, there are regrets. There really are. And that's why I have that question for people who are rushing into a marriage. Marriage can be beautiful. Do not get me wrong. I'm not bashing on marriage. My genuine question is, when you are already, because I never lived with my husband prior to marrying him, so I think that's why I'm heading there. and why these women had that ultimatum for their partners as to, you are already living with them under the same roof. You guys share responsibilities, bills, a life together. What is the difference of signing a piece of paper saying you belong to each other under the state's eyes when you can have a beautiful spiritual ceremony with your loved ones? No documentation involved, but yet in the long run, if it does last, you guys still have the same rights. Doesn't matter the state you live in. I just feel that sometimes it's just a cliche type of thing, having documents signed. Yes, sorry, go ahead.
No, to answer your question, I think the difference is like, so for example, let's use Sam and Ozzy for example. I think that's the best case scenario. Is Ozzy was very torn between telling her family she's gay, let alone that she has a partner or a spouse. In her family, they would have to address her as a friend, not her significant other. So let's say, God forbid, there's an accident and Ozzy's in the hospital. Ozzy's family is going to make all the decisions because they are the next of kin. They're the ones that get to make these decisions, not Sam.
Not necessarily, though.
Word.
But in most cases, that's how it is, unless you have it on paper. Unless you have it on paper that they're a beneficiary and that they're this.
Right. They have the
you
power
know,
of attorney.
I think in those cases, like Clara was saying, sorry, I forgot my card.
Yeah.
I think in those cases, so for me, I've always been the one that's like, I want to be married. I want to have kids because I was with, like, they've asked, why do you want to get married? I want to know that if something happens to my partner, I can take care of you. I can make those decisions for you. So of course I've been educated and now I understand power of attorney, medical power of attorney, beneficiary. I've learned all those things.
I'm working
But
on that.
still, part of me still feels like society has raised me to, like, that's what you're supposed to do. I want to take my husband's. I've always said, I'm not changing my last name. My last name is Smith. It ain't going nowhere. And I've joked around, and apparently that's a very, you shouldn't tell men that because men get offended. But they don't want to take your last name. I guess it's like a bad thing. Don't joke around like that.
It's a social stigma. Like
It is. It is.
to that point, like how you said it, there's this idea that when you're brought up and you're raised a certain way that it's going to be that way. Like my last name is going to stay my last name. I went through a lot with my name. That's why it's a little hard sometimes. But I want to keep my last name the way it is. And even my sister's like that. One of my sisters.
Hyphenated?
Maybe. I can't say that for sure right now because right now my brain says it's like that's gonna be my last name. That's it. But if I were to meet the right person and I feel like at that time, yeah, I want to hyphenate it because I want to feel like they feel like they're included in my decision making, then yeah. But as of right now, it's just gonna be that because I grew up in a household where we all had different last names, and to me it didn't make any difference. Grandma had a different last name than my mom and my dad and then me, and like it was fine. And then Tia Lupe and Meli moved in with us for a minute. They had different last names than we did. And then June for a minute too.
Yeah, it's backstory. Sorry to interrupt, a little backstory in terms because you made a very valid point. Like, why don't men take our last names? And it goes back to the whole social stigma and backstory on everybody having different last names. I didn't know that my dad, who raised me, was not my biological father until I got a Student of the Month award with my little brother. I was like in 5th grade and he was like in kindergarten, 1st grade. And I remember they called our names and I was so confused as to why I had one last name and they said a different last name for my brother. And when we get home, I tell my mom, in all seriousness, Mom, you need to call the school because they made a mistake on Junior's certificate. She's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, well, they said, Student of the Month, Clara Gorola, whatever, and then, Martin, and they said his last name, and she starts cracking up so hard. Like, laughing in my face. And then she goes, ay, pendeja. A ver, siéntate. And then she tells me to sit down. And then she tells me the whole story. When I was 9 years old, I found out my dad wasn't my dad. He raised me since I was like 9 months old. But point being is that we've all grown up with so different last names in our family. And so I did change my last name in my marriage. But that's just a different story. We will talk about that at another segment of this thing because, yeah. But I kind of do agree with like what Kyra was saying though, and with you keeping your last name or her keeping hers and then the husband taking your last name. He can hyphenate his as well. Do you know what I mean? So why would it only be us who have to take on?
Yeah, just don't bring that up to men.
Can't bring nothing up to men. They say we're the sensitive ones, but men are like whiny and they're very emotional. I'm sorry. That can be on our next one too because there's so much to talk about. Because I'm in a house full of 4 boys, my kids, and everybody's like, oh, you're so lucky because girls are so emotional and girls are this. No. Men, boys are just as bad, if not even worse, because you get the freaking stinky ass, stinky feet, balls, sweat, and the emotionals and the holes in the walls and everything. Girls at least just go and cry in their room and just go. Give you that little roll of the eyes and sassiness. But with boys, you get it fucking all, and you get lo olor a huevos, a culo, a patas, and everything. Now I need a drink. Yes.
Real quick. So Clara is used to that because she grew up with all brothers. She didn't have any sisters. What she has that's closest to sisters is people like me because I'm her prima hermana. Yeah. But then she goes and gets married and it has all 4 boys, so she never got away from it smelling like ass crack and balls.
No. Never. And dog.
But anyway, so what we were getting at prior to a quick intermission was, you know, oftentimes when we are brought up a certain way, we think that the things that we see is how things should be done. Marriage is not necessarily easy. And I know that kind of goes to when Clara was talking about, you know, she didn't live with her husband before they got married, and then when they did, everything is so much different. The things that she's learned while being married and living together is a lot different than what she expected to begin with. And that, like she said, we should be able to choose what our names will be, like our last names. Just saying.
That's why you live with them and sleep with them before you get married, so you know what you're getting into. My thought.
I agree. I when I was younger, I had the thought of wanting to be a virgin and finding the man of my dreams and marrying him and going from there. But having experienced and being around so many people on both sides of the family, but namely my husband's side, they all, like the older generation, they're miserable. Very miserable. But they do tell you, you know, you are raised to be with this man, give him as many children as you can, and put up with it. Put up with him, put up with infidelity, put up with abuse, whether it be physical, emotional, whatever, because that's how you were raised. And you are to be a submissive, obedient, loving wife. And there's supposed to be no other man before him for you. But he can have as many women before, during, and after. Again, it goes back to like I was telling Kyra. Socially, men have always gotten away with so much when it comes to marriage, relationships, job, work, anything. So I feel that I don't think there's nothing wrong with a woman asking a man or letting a man know, hey, we can get married and be committed for the rest of our lives, but I don't want to take your last name. I honestly don't think that.
Yeah, well, I think Zoe Saldana, the actress, I think her husband took her last name. I believe. So from what I've heard. He took her last name, which I kind of thought was poetic because it's just poetic.
Like
Poe.
a poem?
Yeah.
Poem?
Yeah, like poetic. Cause like, you know, she's Dominican and Colombian. Her mom only had girls.
Kind of different cultures, like who takes whose name, or is it? It's pretty much men, right? Because but also men are the ones passing on their like whatever. I don't know.
So in the Dominican Republic, a lot of the times, just kind of like Mexico, they have two last names. They have mom and dad's. Which
one thing I do want to add to that though, in Mexico, how if we have two last names here, our dad's last name is last, and that's the one we use. In Mexico, the dad's last name is first, and that's the one you use.
yeah.
So let's just say your mom's maiden name is, you know, Jefferson. Your dad's last name is Smith. So you would be Kyra. So you would
Sounds like a very
You would be Kyra.
not white girl name at all.
Actually, no. The last name Jefferson, actually, the way it's spelled. Never mind. I'm not gonna get into it.
Kyra, okay, Kyra Jefferson.
I was about to get
Like, really?
really?
I'm sorry.
Correct. Something happened there. Anyways, all I'm saying is, it makes no sense. I don't know. Don't joke around. Don't play the Chris Brown song and sing it to him. Talking about I'm gonna make you change. I'm gonna make you take my name. I'm gonna make you change your last name.
Ooh.
They get really offended. It's only funny for so long, apparently. Sorry. Not sorry.
Not sorry.
No, but like another thing to last names, like for me, I think last names aren't that important. Like to me, I don't see them as that important because I mean, I grew up with many last names within my family, so to me it was like whatever.
I think you have a different dynamic. Your last name isn't like your family crest.
Legacy.
Right. But the thing that I think is funny, because Clara like did make a good point, in Mexico it's like the dad's is first and then the mom's is last. In Mexico, if you don't have two last names, you're a bastard. They're very old school that way, to where you get treated in social like circles like you're dirt.
Even for jobs.
Yeah, for jobs, they will, just because you don't have two last names, you could lose an opportunity for a job just because you don't have that and someone else does, even if they don't have the same like studies that you did, same degrees.
So what if your last name is the same? So like my last name, I dated somebody with the same last name. Completely not related. They were a completely different race. Yeah. But what would you do?
And you would have both.
This and this?
It would
Like,
be
it
like
would be-
Smith. Yeah. So it would be like, for example, my ex who I was with for
Ain't nobody got time to write that.
about a year and a half, his last name was
Smith.
Yeah, it would be Garcia if his parents had the same last name. And they wouldn't even think twice about it in Mexico. They'd be like, oh.
I think when you get married, both of you guys lose your last name and now you create a new name.
Ooh, that would be
Rainbow.
something nice. Oops, sorry.
That'd be dope.
What is yours going to be? Glitter?
Sparkle.
I'm not a stripper.
We should. I'm all. We should. I'm all. That would be your stripper name? Oh my god! Now we know. Now we know what her stripper name would be.
Sparkle? Like,
That would be her stripper name, though. She just gave herself away.
How do you know it's not already my stripper name?
oh damn, you've been hiding a
you
whole
better
other
invite
life.
us.
Look, I would not be here. Okay? Needing a second job.
Invite us. I'd be your number one fan. I'm the broke number one fan, but I'd be there in support. I really would. I'd be like, woohoo, that's my girl.
Who hit me with the penny again?
Clara.
On accident.
Accidentally on purpose.
I know where you were. Even I deserve at least a quarter.
Excuse me.
Girl, you get a peso.
I can't even spend
but anyway,
Alright.
going back to all of that, yes, I do think, to the original question that I had asked, that it would be a little bit different if they were heterosexual couples and gay, like men. Also because of the
Struggles.
Okay.
Anywho, so Clara was saying that she thinks it would be different if it was a heterosexual couple and or 2 men instead of 2 women.
I think society just up all the relationships. Doesn't matter who you're with, what you're with, whatever you identify with. Society has made us seem like a relationship has to be perfect. There's no definition of perfect. Perfect is the imperfect that you can't live without.
Okay. So that's gonna wrap up our thoughts on Ultimatum Queer Love. I do just want to say we appreciate when you do decide to do what's best for you. If you want to be open about who you truly are, then be open. If you think it's not the time to reveal yourself, then that is fine too, as long as you do it in a safe space with the people that you care about. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. We do want to give a shout out always to some people who we find interesting. So Candy Lover, last week we actually wore your shirt, the Muñeca de Porcelanas, but we did not actually get to film or record wearing the shirts where it was visible. So that was kind of a fail on our part. We'll do better, we promise. But Candy, I have a proposal for you on behalf of us all. We would love to have you on Let's Hablar podcast, so that way we can just talk about all the things, social media for you, all the things, anything you want to talk about. We have no limits for you. We would love to do it. We can go to you. If you want to meet somewhere in between, that's fine too. We'll figure it out. If you see this, and if you know Candy and you're watching, dile que se comunique con nosotros, okay? At MayaLadies7, that's MayaLeydis7 on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Candy, reach out to us. We would love to hear you.
Yes.
And if you could do my makeup, because I struggle with eyelashes. These bitches got me like...
You know she don't like doing people's makeup. She said that 1,000 times.
My girl can shoot her shot.
Okay. Now you want to shoot your shot.
Because
okay.
Her makeup
Yes.
always looks beautiful.
Duh. Everything she does is freaking beautiful.
Not flawless
Like,
skin
she's-
too, though.
But
No, she doesn't.
Well, the times I have seen her, very few, not as much as you guys. I've seen her where she's barely starting to put her makeup on, and I don't see like heavy pores. I don't see acne. I don't see any of that. I mean, she may not have the perfect skin, like in the sense of like even tone. You know, I'm pretty sure she's got bags and a little bit of freckles. But my point is,
yeah.
they are. They are like.
She's a real one. She 100% real one, hands down. Can't nobody ever tell me anything about that woman. She is such an inspiration. She has helped me get through some extremely dark days. And it sucks to see how people on social media just try to take that moment, take that power from her. And I will defend her till I can't defend her anymore. Come talk about me. Come talk about me. Because she's a real one and is okay. She loves what she's doing and loves her relationship, loves her family, like a genuine person, and is not afraid to show like, yeah, I struggle with this. Yeah, I'm a real person. But yet looks as freaking gorgeous as she does. Body, looks, personality. She can, yeah, she can do it all. She's one of those people in high school, those girls that you're just like, oh, you make everything look so easy.
I'm convinced that she's your spirit animal because both of you guys love glitter, and
100%.
I'm pretty sure she's made of glitter. Because at this point,
Hello? My nephew wants me to like attend to him, so thank you guys for
thanks for joining us.
and thanks for all like the, you know, like the oh my god, what's the word I'm looking for?
feedback.
There you go. It's my mom brain. It is. I literally just took 3 sips of my mimosa I hadn't drank all day, nothing. So it's the mom brain, excuse me. It's the exhaustion. But yes, we appreciate all the feedback because we're learning, and I can't wait for this to go as big as it needs to get, and so many of you to be a part of this, and yeah, give us all the feedback.
And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, tell your friends to tell their friends to tell their friends, they mamas and their daddies too, that we are available everywhere, pretty much everywhere. If you want to know if we're available on it, ask us. Put in the comments what you think about the show.
They know, I
ask
don't.
me and her. So ask us. We will definitely be looking at the comments to see what questions we can answer. Tell us your thoughts on Ultimatum Queer Love edition. I'm just gonna say it because even though that's not the name of the show, that's what I want to call it. Anyways, bendiciones, mi gente. Thank you. We appreciate you. Until next time, where we discuss expectations from the much older generation, since Clara touched on that a little bit, and I think that would be a good start for our next episode.
Bye.
Adios, mi gente.